Hi, Dr. Garrett. This is Ryan Hill with KIN480, and today we're going to be going over some of the exercises that I prescribe for my client. Starting off with, we're going to be starting with our lower body exercise, and for that, I chose walking lunges. As far as equipment goes, you don't really need any dumbbells if necessary. If not, no big deal. For my client, it is not necessary. Her lower leg strength or her leg strength is not the best. It is something that we do need to work on. So that is why I placed emphasis on a lot of body weight exercises for the lower body. But going right into it, we're going to be starting with our lunges. So setup, again, not really much. Just get enough space to do your lunges. It's really all that matters. So what you're going to do is you want to take a step probably just outside of shoulder width. You don't want to be, so shoulder width step would be about right here. If I turn sideways, my leg, this is probably do the other way. If I turn sideways, you can see my feet are about shoulder width. We want to be just barely outside of that. So take a step just barely outside shoulder width, drop that knee down to the ground, and you can either do, it's kind of up to the trainer and up to the client, you can either do a quick just tap and go kind of to where your knee barely touches the floor and then pops back up if you need that kind of sensory feedback. But if not, then you want to go right above to where your knee touches the ground, not quite touching it, but you want to get as close as you possibly can. And then you're going to pop right back up and meet your front foot. And then you're just going to do it again. And key points in this that I do want to focus on are keeping that torso straight. You shouldn't be hunching down just like that. It should be torso straight, legs up, or not legs up, chest up, head up. Shouldn't be hunched over like that, or like this, and you don't want to be overextended right here, but just a nice straight vertical up and down, just like that. Another common mistake in walking lunges are going too far or too shallow. So not too shallow, but too short with your step. So going too short with your step, you don't allow yourself enough space for your hips to open up to where you can hit that proper depth. So going short, and I'm right here, I'm really starting to lose balance about halfway through the rep. So it makes it a lot more difficult to hit that depth. While it does might have its merits doing it that way, because it is harder to do that, it does actually add a huge risk, huge fall risk, especially for my clients. So don't want to be doing that. Second, excuse me, talking too fast. Second common mistake is taking too big of a step. So you don't want to be way out here, because then you're getting too much of a stretch in your quad, and that can kind of cause strain if the muscles are not conditioned well enough. Actually, believe it or not, I was doing weighted split squat a couple months ago, and I actually pulled my adductor magnus doing that same thing. I just took my step way too far. I guess they were walking lunges. I was doing weighted walking lunges, and I stepped way far back right there and pulled that adductor magnus right there. So definitely do not want to be doing that. Moving on, we're going to be going into lawnmower pulls. So let me get some stuff out of the way real quick. Get our setup going. Let's see, can you see that? All right, and I didn't feel like my dogs ended up getting our dumbbells, so I didn't feel like hunting them down. So instead, we're going to be using my water gallon jug right here. But for lawnmower pulls, what we're going to be doing is getting in an athletic stance and supporting ourselves on a platform of some kind. Ideally, not a wobble chair. This is just what I had in my room, so that's just what I'm doing, just to make the setup easier for me. But what you're going to do is you're going to get in an athletic stance. You're going to split those legs, and with the side that you're rowing with, you're going to have that leg back. So you don't want to be right here, because then your leg is just going to be hitting the dumbbell on each rep, and you don't want to do that. So you're going to open up those hips to the weight. You're going to get that back flat, that chest up as much as you can, and you're just going to row just like that. You want to keep those lats tight and engaged, that elbow tight. You don't want to have your elbow way out here. That would be a killer rear delt exercise. but we're trying to do a compound pull for the lats. So yeah, that's about it. You want to make sure common mistakes are obviously hunching that back. Don't want to do that. Not being in that athletic stance or having that athletic stance in the wrong way, hitting that leg. Also, another thing, you can do your stance this way. I don't recommend it because the base is not as sturdy. So I like to have that foot up just like that. Let's see, any more common mistakes for that one? I don't think there really are, honestly. All right, so going into our last exercise, we're going to be doing cable wood chops. So the setup for this, you get your, or I said cable or banded. So you're gonna get your resistance band. Ideally, you wanna get one of these kinds, not the ones that are just like the loop like that. But what you're gonna do is you are going to open your door, stick the non-handle side through the door. Oh no, the dogs heard me. And then you're just going to shut that little bit on the door. Make sure your door is all the way shut because you don't want it to pop open on you. And that way you can tug on it as much as you want and it will not come out. All right, so once you got your setup done, what you're gonna do is you're going to get the handle in both hands. You're going to extend it outwards this way, and ideally you want it to be to where the tension is pulling you a little bit to one way. I grabbed one of our lighter ones on accident, so this doesn't have much resistance to it. But yeah, you want it to be ideally pulling you a little bit with the tension pulling you towards that way. That way you can just get that full range of motion, that full twist. But what you're going to be doing is essentially just that. You're going to be holding it out and you're going to be twisting across your body just like that. Now your starting point is going to be just barely, probably about like 45 degrees to the left of square from your hips. And then your end point is going to be about the same, about 45 degrees to the right. So you're going to be going that full range, 90-degree range of motion. You don't really want to be going too much past that because you don't want to put any unnecessary strain on the spine, but just that 45 degrees right here. And if it is too difficult, you can bring your arms in and do it that way. That does decrease the tension a little bit, not a super whole lot, but a little bit, enough to make a difference. Let's see, common mistakes. There really aren't too many common mistakes for this one. I would say the main common mistake is just going to be over rotation. Doing a thing like this, putting some unnecessary shearing forces on the spine. And then, for tear down, all you gotta do, open your door and pull that bad boy out. That is all I got for you today, Dr. Garrett. Thank you for your time and watch my video. Thanks.